Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to see a good turnout, and also it's good to see that I don't recognize 50% of the room, which means that the word has gone beyond just our little Tata-Cornell research group. I guess also we've been really delighted with the headline coverage today in the Chronicle and on the websites, etc. So that's kind of fun. Kind of gives us this feeling that we are coming out and being recognized. So it's been a fantastic third year for the Tata-Cornell program. We started small, but this year we had our first PhD student graduating. Soumya Gupta graduated last summer, the first from our program, and her thesis is already making a lot of waves, and people who've been interested in looking at the role of women's empowerment in nutrition. And much of what she has shown empirically are things that are now getting real solid policy attention, both in India, but also people elsewhere are starting to look at Soumya's work and see how it's relevant to them. And so that's kind of a good model for us as we think about the way we are shaping this program and the way our PhD students are going through this TCI program. Right now, we've got 10 PhD students in the program, which is quite amazing, and we're looking forward to going up to our full capacity, which is having 16 PhD students. And we hope over the next 2 years to get there. And the way we've been designing this program is to bring in 4 new students each year, and then have 4 students leave the program at the end of the 4th year. And so that way we, at any given time, we have a sustainable level of 16 students. And so with 10 now, we're for a good start. I'm also pleased that we've had a good balance among the students. Right now we've got about 6 students from India and 4 that are from elsewhere, including 1 student from Zimbabwe that we're very proud of, to have not just American students and Indian students, but also from Zimbabwe. And we'll talk more about Phil in a few minutes' time. Our second PhD student, Tanvi Rao, finished her 1 year in the field and is back. And so this is our second student who's gone through this whole cycle of doing intense field work and bringing that back and showing that you can do intense field work and still have an analytically rigorous PhD coming out of that. And that's the model that we've been promoting. And Tanvi, following Soumya, has shown that that's a model that can work. We've got 2 other students who are starting to head out to the field. Maureen Valentine is on her way this spring or early next semester. And she's from Animal Sciences department, and she's going to be looking at goat feeding strategies, a subject that beyond the title I know very little about. But we believe that given the importance of small ruminants in India, particularly for the rural poor, this is a very important area for us to bring in. We also have Phil Frost, as I mentioned, our student from Zimbabwe, who's sitting back there in a blue shirt. Phil Frost is a student of Harold Van Ness and in soil science, and Phil and Harold have been doing significant work now looking at soil health in India and metrics for measuring soil health and simple tools for doing in-field measurements of soil health parameters. And that's an area that also will bring a completely new dimension to the program. that we have. And Phil and Harold and Peter Hobbs back there have all been very engaged from the plant science, soil science side in our program. A brand new PhD student who started with us just this week is Anthony Vant. Anthony is sitting right there in the middle. Anthony is a student of Rebecca Nelson in plant sciences, and Anthony is taking on a major new emerging problem that we are facing in India, and that's the problem of mycotoxin contamination in food supply systems. Contamination of aflatoxin in peanuts and in maize is well known, but we're also beginning to see aflatoxin and other mycotoxin contaminations in rice, in other spices, etc. And it's a major food safety problem, and there's quite a bit of concern about the relationship between mycotoxin contamination and nutrition, particularly child stunting. And so Anthony and Rebecca are taking on this new big challenge of addressing mycotoxin contamination. So we've had a very successful pilot of the Agua Clara project, where the Agua Clara system is now established in 4 villages in India, with piped clean drinking water systems available now in all 4 villages, and villagers actually paying on a monthly basis for access to this piped drinking water. So the model of bringing in Cornell-based clean drinking water technology to rural India and showing that it works in rural India on a pilot basis has been established. And one of our PhD students, Shuli Vanaja, Shuli over there, is going to start doing a detailed evaluation of this program and looking at what it means to have this clean drinking water, both in terms of human health and nutrition impacts, but also in terms of what it means in changing the lives of women when they don't have to spend a huge part of their day collecting water and bringing that water back into the house. And what do they do with that time that's released? How do they use that time? And what are the big benefits that come out of it? So Shuli is going to be starting up this work, and she's heading out to India in a couple of weeks' time to do the next round of field work in this area. And so I'm really excited about that. It brings a dimension of multidisciplinarity to the problem of water, where we've had the water engineering people, people like Monroe and Mason Sheriff, etc., who've done the engineering work around it. And now we have the economics group going in doing a detailed evaluation around that work. On the postdoctoral fellows and the visiting scientists, we're going to hear a bit both from Asha and from Julia soon, so I won't talk more about their work because I let them talk about that. Matthew Abraham, who's here, Matthew joined us earlier this year, and Matthew is doing some really interesting work looking at smallholders aggregating into producers groups, and then how those producers groups can then access food value chains. And that's some work that we will see coming up, and next time we meet, we'll have a report back from Matthew. Roger Liu, who's our visiting scientist from China, has finished 2 years with us and is on his way back to China early next year. And Roger's done some really interesting work looking at the evolution of food safety systems in China. And that's some work that I think will be very applicable as we look at India in the future. And it's something that we're looking forward to getting the final work out from Roger and then looking at applications of that. This year we also tried some mini sabbatical programs. So we had Shobha Shetty from the World Bank, who was here with us for 3 months. And she did some intensive work and put together a paper on how food policies in India need to change in order to look at the diet and nutrition transition that's taking place. And her paper is now under review for publication. We also have Dr. Padmaja, who is here somewhere. There she is, from ICRISAT. And Dr. Padmaja has spent 2 months with us, and in 2 months has finished writing 3 papers and using the ICRISAT village level data. So this is a wonderful model for us to have professionals come in, spend time with us, do some intensive work, write up papers, and be able to go back and promote the cause with us. That's fantastic. And ICRISAT is a very good partner for us, and we appreciate the partnership. ICRISAT has hosted many of our summer interns over the years, and we hope to keep building up that partnership with ICRISAT, both in sending students there, but also having people like Padmaja come and work with us here. I can keep talking, but I think I should wrap up and let everybody else do the talking. But I want to say a couple of things. One thing I want to say is we're really delighted that we're going to start on a whole new venture with the grant that we got from the Gates Foundation. The Gates grant of $13 million that we got, which we just launched this week, will basically allow us to scale up the work that we are doing and really create meaningful change in nutrition in India. And the ways that we will be doing this is, one, creating better data and better metrics for measuring nutrition, the actual state of nutrition in India. Second, look at ways in which policy advocacy and good policy analysis can be used to create meaningful policy reform in the food and agriculture sector. And the third way in which we'll like to make a difference is building capacity in India of a strong cadre of professionals who understand this link between agriculture and nutrition, who understand food policy, who can then be champions for bringing about more effective food policy change in India that addresses nutrition and improves the overall nutritional status. So that's a grant that we're just starting up on. We've got some great collaborators on this grant. We've got IFPRI in India, CARE, Emory University, BIFE, a big NGO in India. All of us working together, along with several departments in Cornell coming together on this grant. Something we're really excited about. I'm going to India next week to launch the grant in India. And then I'll be, of course, reporting back over the years on how we're moving forward on that. We're also we started up a month ago with a new project in Gujarat looking at flour fortification and using women's self-help groups as a way of promoting fortification of wheat flour using iron, zinc, vitamin A, vitamin C together in little sachets that can be added to wheat flour. And what we're doing is to get these women's groups to actually sell these sachets. And we're creating a marketing scheme to promote the use of the sachets and getting women to be entrepreneurs and selling them and creating a market mechanism for addressing a problem of nutrition. And that's a project that's just taken off, and we've got a few collaborators, including DSM, which is a big micronutrient manufacturing company, along with BIFE, etc., that are working together in promoting this project. Again, something that I'll come back and talk to you some more about as next year this time. Before I close, I think it's important for me to recognize a few people without whom this work would not happen, and I would not be hanging around here. I think the first person that needs to be recognized is Mary Catherine French. You can't imagine how much support we get, not just myself personally, but the entire team gets from Mary Catherine. And I've noticed that most people in our team go to her first to get problems solved because they know that I couldn't do much anyway. So she takes care of everybody in the team, and she's such an enormous asset for us. We've also have Jessica Ames, she just finished her first anniversary with the team. And Jessica has been running this program. She got on and she's been moving forward with this program and been very effective in scaling it up and creating a broader awareness among the various Cornell groups on what we're doing. And also last year expanded quite significantly the summer internship program, going beyond ICRISAT to several other groups in India. And this year, we anticipate she would expand it even further. So look forward to continuing work with Jessica. Also want to recognize Per Pinstrup Anderson, who's the chair of our advisory group. Per and I have many times sat down and talked about what we're doing. I value the advice Per has given me over the last few years. And one of the reasons I came to Cornell is because of the enormous encouragement that Per gave me to say, come and take on this job and see if you can make a difference with this project. And I'm glad to say I made the right decision, Per. So thank you so much for that. Also want to thank all of our faculty fellows, several faculty fellows with us, many of them in the room here. And the faculty fellows have been playing an enormously important role in guiding students and being part of our overall research team and providing a multidisciplinary feel and expertise that are so essential for our work. So with that, let me stop and let's go ahead with the program and then enjoy yourself with the reception that takes place after this. Thank you so much.